Hey, I'm Sadie Singh.
And I'm Noah Schnapp.
I'm Caleb McLaughlin.
And I'm Gaten Matarazzo.
I'm Finn Wolfhard from the show Stranger Things.
Everybody is excited for season 3.
Us included.
But in case you haven't seen seasons 1 and 2, or you just need a quick refresher, we're here to catch you up and get you nice and ready for the new episodes.
Here we go.
Super fast, here's a quick rundown of all the important characters in the series.
There's Mike, Will, Dustin, and Lucas, the most awesome one, who are all best friends.
Mike has a sister named Nancy, and Will has a brother named Jonathan. Nancy's dating this really cool guy named Steve Harrington and is best friends with Barb. Will's mom is Joyce Byers, and the Hawkins chief of police is Jim Hopper.
Oh, and we can't forget 11, but we just call her Elle.
Hawkins, Indiana, here we come.
So season 1 opens in Hawkins, where we see a big, scary laboratory. Something is clearly going wrong because alarms are going off and lab coat guys are panicking. But we'll get back to that, because right now our boys, Mike, Will, Lucas, and Dustin are playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons in Mike's basement.
The Demogorgon! We're in deep shit.
Nerds.
So anyways,
After the game, they all go their separate ways, and while biking home, Will gets attacked by this scary monster that we can't see. Spooky.
Everyone starts freaking out about Will missing, but as the search goes on, we meet Elle, a girl with a shaved head and a hospital gown, who doesn't seem to speak and has some scary Men in Black types after her.
You must be Benny Hammond.
Afraid I am.
Who should she end up running into and making friends with? That's right, the boys.
Except for Will, of course.
Yeah, he was busy at the time. Will! Anyway, while Will's mom, Joyce, and Hopper are looking for Will, Nancy and Barb go to a pool party at Steve's house. And while Steve and Nancy are kissing upstairs, the Demogorgon attacks Barb and brings her to the Upside Down.
the Upside Down is a mirror world of our own, except everything is awful and creepy and ruled over by hideous monsters of unspeakable terror. But again, 11 can communicate between our world and the Upside Down, so that's pretty neat.
Now, at this point, Will has figured out how to communicate with his mom from the Upside Down using various Christmas lights, which he can flick on and off.
This leads to Joyce covering the whole house in tons of Christmas lights and figuring out a system of interdimensional communication all her own.
Which makes her look like an absolute crazy person. She's not.
I don't care if anyone believes me.
Also, we get some gnarly flashbacks that show us Elle was used in these terrible experiments where she's sent into the black void at the lab near Hawkins. Eventually, state troopers find what appears to be Will's body in the water of a local reservoir. As you'd imagine, everyone's pretty shocked and upset.
But Hopper, bless him, is suspicious
Okay.
and discovers that the tiny child's corpse in question is just a stuffed dummy. Hate when that happens.
Totally. While the school has this assembly for Will, one of the bullies tries to fight Mike, but 11, in disguise of course, stops him using her telepathic powers and makes him pee his pants in front of everyone.
Dude, Troy peed himself.
A fair but brutal punishment.
Brutal indeed. So Hopper decides to break into Hawkins' lab to see what the hell is going on, since they faked the child death and whatnot. Unsurprisingly, he gets caught, drugged, and returned home, where he wakes up and discovers several secret listening devices.
The boys, along with Elle, go looking for the non-deceased Will in the woods, as do Nancy and Jonathan. Nancy gets stuck through a hole in a tree and then into the Upside Down, but Jonathan is able to pull her back through the goo hole before she gets barbed by the Demogorgon.
Never say goo hole.
Will's mom, Joyce, and Sheriff Hopper.
Just Hopper?
Right, Hopper and Joyce go and find Elle's birth mother and get a better idea of what's going down at Hawkins' lab, which clearly involves kidnapping newborn babies with cool powers.
And the boys, out by the old quarry looking for answers, are attacked by the Pee-Pants bully Troy, who despite having a knife and a lot of pent-up anger,
And sucks.
gets his arm broken by Elle's mind. Oh, and Elle also makes Mike fly. Or maybe we just say hover.
I can say that that is awesome and very rad. The squad from Hawkins' lab knows about Elle hiding out with the boys at Mike's house. The bad men, as they are called, set out to kidnap her back. Luckily, her superpower mind is able to flip the vans over, which rules very hard.
Very hard.
Now, the boys and Elle are in hiding, and it's a full-on manhunt from scary bad men in black suits. Luckily, Hopper finds them first, and the whole team concocts a plan to build a sensory deprivation tank, which will allow Elle to find Will in the Upside Down.
What is this for?
Fun.
Elle finds Will in the Upside Down using one of her classic telepathic tricks, and while the boys wait with her in the gym, Hopper and Joyce speed off to Hawkins' lab where they're convinced they'll be able to find the entrance to the Upside Down. Unsurprisingly, they're caught almost immediately.
Don't move!
And taken to see the head bad dude, Dr. Brenner. Hopper convinces the lab guys to let him and Joyce go into the Upside Down and find Will since the entrance is in the lab, on the condition that neither of them saw anything or admit that they were there in the first place.
We're gonna find her son, and then we're gonna forget that any of this ever happened.
While all of this is happening, Nancy and Jonathan, and an unwitting Steve who is being a jerk, have set up a trap for the monster, who they catch and set on fire using a bear trap and gas, as one does.
Unfortunately, when the fire goes out, the monster is gone.
Where'd it go?
Guess what? Government agents working with Hawkins' lab find the kids at Hawkins Middle School.
They found us.
And after Elle makes their eyes start bleeding, which is very cool, the monster smells blood and is off to join everyone at the school.
So the Demogorgon is just busting up stuff, leaving a real mess of bodies and school supplies as the kids run around trying to stop it.
In a final showdown, Lucas clumsily tries to find more rocks to slingshot at the monster.
Get the rocks! Get the rocks! Get the rocks! Get in the rocks!
Elle shows up, using all the power she has, annihilates the hell out of the Demogorgon, and it dies. It's a horrible monster, and it definitely ate Barb alive, so it's fine.
Sadly though, Elle disappears at this point too, and nobody knows where she went. But Joyce and Hopper find and rescue Will from the Upside Down, so that's good.
Smash cut to a few months later, everything seems back to normal.
Will is Harold, the boy who came back, but still seems to be slightly affected by his ordeal. He also burps up a black slug, which is probably not great.
But on a more positive note, we see a final scene where Hopper treks off into the woods and leaves a stash of Eggo waffles, Elle's absolute favorite food, in a drop box, leaving us on a hopeful note we might see her again.
And Finn.
We forgot to talk about the part where Jonathan beats the crap out of Steve.
Stop!
But other than that,
That does it for season 1, but what about season 2?